So we're going to sort of, because I didn't finish everything last week, I'm going to sort of pick up towards the end of last week. Some of you have submitted the exercises, which is great. If you haven't, then starting this week, you'll have to submit exercise 1 and exercise 2. The way it works is like I don't mark them one-to-one because you might have found the solution in a different way and might still give you the correct answer. So what I do is I give you a sheet, like HTML spreadsheet, and then you can check your own results versus what I did. And then hopefully, based on that, you can go, oh, I went horribly wrong, this is something completely different. Or you go, oh, this is exactly the same type of thing that I got. Okay? So the reason I don't do it, because if I have to mark it one-to-one, there's more than one way, and also in some of my solutions you'll see there's more than one way to achieve the same thing, and that would create lots of possibilities for me to say, oh, this. So that's about the exercises. Blackboard Ultra doesn't allow me sometimes to give you so you'll always receive a mark. Those marks don't count towards your final total. These are all just formative exercises. Only assignments count towards your final mark. Before I proceed, any burning questions? So we talked about the library and we talked about their issues. So I'll feed that back to Michael and we'll try to get on that. And R is available in this room. I had a question about different versions of R. Unless you go back way in time, it doesn't matter too much if you have 3.6.1 or 3.6.0. Occasionally it will matter for a singular package, but as some people will have also posted on the Blackboard, some packages will not work for some versions of R. That's because the people who have to maintain it haven't updated it yet, so it will in the future then likely be available. All the questions that you have, I can't answer them one-to-one, and that's also not because I don't want to, but most of the time you'll have the same type of question. So you should use the discussion board. Also, especially for assignments, and that's just because it's fairer if it's transparent. If people ask a question, I say, I can't answer this, or this is the answer. And it's more transparent if everybody uses the discussion board. So if you have something which is unclear, just use the discussion board, and I'll try to get back to you within 72 hours, like 3 working days at most. Okay, so last week, I'll put this in full screen. We had a look at making a boxplot as well. So from the flights data, some of you have already attempted this. So we tried to look at calculating the mode, and so Modest also lives in the biomanager package. So as you will notice, as I've posted, there's many ways in R to achieve the same thing. So one package will calculate the mode, but a different package will also do it. That will become clearer also when I talk about ANOVA and some other things. So there's many ways to achieve the same thing in R, and every package might do it slightly differently or slightly in a different way, and I'll try to explain that. And so you can read more about how that works from that link and also from the Modest package. So I didn't talk to you about skimr, and skimr is sometimes the package hasn't been fully released yet, but we still want to use it, and that's when we use development tools, and that's the DevTools type of command. So after you've installed DevTools, you can download packages which are in development directly from GitHub. That also means that if packages are suddenly no longer available, if there's a legacy version available on GitHub, you're able to install it. So this is how you go about installing skimr. So this is R Open Scilabs is where it's hosted, and skimr is where it's living. And then you can install a package like this. So sometimes packages will be unavailable, and then you have to go looking for it somewhere else on the internet, and most likely will live on GitHub, and this is how you would get such a package to you. So what skimr then does is it provides you a summary for every single variable in your data set, which can be quite useful. So it will tell you how many missings there are, it will tell you how many completes there are, it will tell you the minimum, the maximum, the number of empties, so these are character variables, the number of unique labels, and this is just like mean, standard deviation, the 0th percentile, the 25th percentile, the 50th percentile, etc., etc. And so I've not printed everything, but play around with this package because it will give you a summary of your data set all in one go. So if you miss SPSS, I feel your pain. There is something like SPSS which you can try, like R Commander, which is a pointy-clicky type of thing. So you can install R Commander in your on your own, and then you will have something which will do the pointy clicky type of thing for you. It will basically print an R command to the syntax, and then it will run it. So you can toy with R Commander if you want to, like, quick and dirty do some things. So this is the exercise. I'm not going to read out. Some of you have already done it. So read the steps which you have to do, and then you have to save a data set. And then also Chris might use something which is Jupyter Notebooks. So there is a way to combine R and Python code. So Chris might have told you a little bit about Python. There is a way to mix both. You can also see that in R Markdown you can insert Python chunks. So there is a way to basically make something hybrid. So my experience is that they're great, but they don't play well if you have multiple versions of R on your PC, which might happen in the future. Like you might have an older version and a newer version, and then it doesn't play well if you build these type of notebooks. But if you're up for a challenge, you can try and look into Jupyter and installing a Jupyter installation and notebooks. And those were some references. So that's what I expect you to do. So work through slides, do the exercise, and look at your assignments. So actually, after this first lecture, you can already do some chunks of your assignments. So it's really modular. So it also means that if you're stuck with your assignments, don't just move on to the next bit. So there's lots of points to be gained with like really small things. So if you really get stuck and can't solve something, just move on to the next bit, because there's 100 points to be given. And so some of these things are 2 points each. So don't worry too much if you can't get one, which is 2 points. Just move on to the next one. Yeah.
Where do you actually find the assignment? Because if you go into the assignment guidance, it just says you'll find it in the assignment folder.
There is an assignment folder. There should be on Blackboard. I made one on that. Let's have a look. But there should be an assignment folder.